What key design skills turn good products into great ones? And how can we build a team that has these skills?
How often do you talk to your customers? So, like a design skill is being able to reach out and land conversations with your team or with you. You should be talking to customers, like as many customers as you can, like 10 or so a week. And so, this design skill turns good products into great ones when you can actually start to read in between the lines. How can you build a team that has these skills? Well, I have always found in my experience that when you inspire people with great content, they're going to want to be a part of that creation. So if you come to your team with new information or new insights about your customer, you may very well inspire them to be part of that process as well.
Another one for you, Harrison, about availability and working hours at NUMI. How many hours do you require designers to be available per week? I'm asking because I noticed the input field.
The input field, you're probably Isabel just referring to the designer application, which very, very happy to see your work and like see that application come through. But I think it's a minimum of 10 hours. You should never list out your work in terms of hours, because when you do that, you are commodifying a field that so easily gets commodified outright and throughout history. Instead, you want to lean on that stoplight process and arrive at days. Hey, I can get it done by this day, or speak in terms of capacity. Hey, I have like 20% remaining capacity, or maybe there's feature creep or something. Just be honest with yourself when you're filling out the application, however many extra hours you have available.
Okay, follow-up question. What does the design hiring process look like at NUMI?
Yours truly looks at every single portfolio and every single video submission. After that, you'll receive an email asking you to go through a second round of interviews where you're going to meet with my colleague Hannah Pobar. So we are going to look for skill sets around how you think, how you answer, how you present your work. Little pro tip, when you are crafting a portfolio, if you don't have any words describing your process, or maybe a stat that starts off with where you guys started and what the design did to change that statistic, it's a pass. I don't really spend time looking at portfolios that don't have case studies or can't explain work. If it's just these screenshots of your mocks, like looking all pretty of that calculator app, not for me.
So let's take a question from YouTube. What is the right balance between research and experimentation?
When you can start anticipating what the person is going to say in the research, that's when you know that it's okay to put your UX research motion on the shelf momentarily. And now it's time to go back to your engineering and product team and ideate around how might we X. The X's are coming from the observations that you learned. And so if you don't have a one-to-one mapping of your feature product roadmap and your how might we's, that's not good. You actually don't know your customer as well as you thought you did. You know that you're done with experimentation just momentarily, because research should always be happening when you can anticipate that a customer is going to say something before they even say it. But watch out also, because that can lead into unconscious bias pretty quickly.
We have another one here. How do you define good quality? Is it great UI or if it achieves a metric set?
So metrics define the usage, right? UX is the bowl holding the cereal, and UI is the interface to interact with the content. UI is obviously very, very important, but Craigslist became a multi-billion-dollar company off the backs of blue URL links. And last I checked, they're still going like pretty hella strong. I hope that's your answer. And I know it's like very hurtful to everyone's inner visual, like it is mine, but remember, earn the right to focus on visual stuff after you have gotten customer validation. You will feel loads better about yourself, and the come down from when a customer doesn't use your product to when you realize how many hours you put into a mock on Figma, it will be a lot softer and a lot shorter of a fall.
Yeah, I love that. What are good metrics to measure as a designer?
For yourself, what are good metrics to measure within your own personal growth trajectory? And that is how often your teammates are looking to you for advice. Another metric is the usage. How often are customers using your design implementation versus the previous state?
Do we need Scrum Masters, project managers, sort of this middle man glue between engineering and some
No.
of the other teams? No. Oh, wow.
No.
Just straight up.
Just no. If anyone is watching that doesn't know Paul Graham, you must read 2 essays by Paul Graham. The first is Do Things That Don't Scale, and the second one is Founder Mode. Founder mode is basically the idea of a founder going in and doing the work themselves and setting up their team members for success, making sure that they are constantly building up their champions. Everyone at a company should be in founder mode. Everyone at a company should be feeling like they can move autonomously as their own leader. I have mixed feelings about Mark Zuckerberg, but he said something that really, really stuck with me, which is I would never hire someone that I wouldn't be willing to take orders from. When looking at our own hiring practices, making sure that you can lean on someone, no matter how junior, for something that they're specialized for.
Why I asked that question, Harrison? Because some of the teams I've been on obviously had Scrum Masters or project managers, but the best teams that I've been on has been design led with a very, very close engineering partner. And I love that it's design led because, to your point of pen over pixel, lots and lots of questions, figuring out what do we work on, and really holding the client to be the product manager because they are industry experts, closer to the problem, closer to the customer, and then we just plug in. So when I was working at this consultancy, we had no product managers and no Scrum Masters. We had a project manager, but it was very much just communication and kind of like calendar setting and stuff like that. And that was fine, but not really telling people what to do. And I think a lot of companies out there have that. It's like the project manager is the person directing traffic. And it's like, look, you must do this. And you're like, you don't know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had that experience in the past.
There's project and then there's product managers. Project, I think, like useless role. Product managers, they are separate types of PMs. Product managers are people that are able to get a little bit technical in terms of data, setting up experimentation, but their main goal is to round up all the ideas and all the feedback and work with the designers and work with the engineers to make sense of it in an approachable way. If you have a product manager that's able to wholly define the product and what it should be based off of all the inputs that the company is receiving through all of its different departments, that's a good role. But project, simply managing time, that is a result of a company that is uninspired, unable to manage themselves because they feel that they need to get this product out because that's how much they believe in the product itself. When you have a team that is inspired and believes in what they're working on, they're going to not have any need for someone to tell them when it's due. They're trying to get that shit out as fast as humanly possible. But product managers, I think, are a necessary step sometimes, like in slightly later stage companies, because there are just so many inputs that are coming into a company that it's not possible for a designer or an engineer, when they're focused so much on their craft and their discipline, to take in everything all at once and make sense of it.
That's right. What would be good practices in terms of productivity when you are the only designer in the organization? My case, so a designer team of one. Want to listen to the full conversation? Click the video on screen now. Subscribe to the channel if you want to join us live. Oh, wait. Okay, fine, you don't have to join us for the live stream, but if you like stuff like this, then click that subscribe button. I'll see you on the inside. Bye!